bowed down, looked at him, and walked out.
Continue, Prabhu.
Prabhupada was so moved by the man's simple act of devotion that for several moments he could not speak. He just looked down and closed his eyes. Finally, with a choked voice, he said, "Such a simple man. Yet somehow he understood that a saintly person is here, and he gathered some flowers to offer." In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti uphartam ashnami prayatat manah." If one offers me a leaf or flower with love and devotion, I will accept it. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and even his heart is touched by such devotion. What to speak of an insignificant living entity like me? How much more I will feel overwhelmed. Prabhupada arranged another meeting with
Now, hold
Jagan.
on, hold on. This is the next. This is the next
Yeah.
incident. But we need to meditate on this small incident, but very powerful incident for a few minutes. Okay, on the one side, you can see how much Prabhupada is dealing with such big mega projects, dealing with so many big delegates, celebrities, government officials, and so on. But at the same time, you see, Prabhupada also is appreciating the small endeavor of a person um, who is coming to offer this just a bunch of flowers. And this is where actually an Acharya stands out, because when we are sitting and listening to a lecture or maybe doing some surveys, we will be too busy in that we will not um, appreciate these little things. As Krishna also, when he was seeing Lord Ram, when the monkeys were throwing big mountains and rocks and all into the Setubandhan, uh, he also appreciated that little squirrel that came and tried to do whatever little it can with its own capacity, right? So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of Krishna's transcendental qualities. Actually, um, it is not so easy to be on the both sides. You know, if you're too much absorbed in something, you tend to be neglectful of the other side of the activities. But here, Prabhupada is teaching us. This he has done it quite a few times, even in the US, when United States, when he had to, when he was very early days, and he was giving class in the New York, where many devotees were still new, 67, 68 around that time, that most of them are still not yet out of the drugs or the addictions to coffee, tea, all those chocolates and all that stuff. Um, there's one, I mean, person who is almost intoxicated. Prabhupada is giving the class. In the middle of the class, he just enters straight in, and all the other devotees are seeing him like a nuisance. He doesn't even have the basic etiquette to, know, not cross in between people and all that. Goes straight into the toilet and puts this tissue paper into that toilet paper, this thing, and then goes away. Just pays respects to Prabhupada and goes away. This is even is not, it's at least here it's an Indian. There it's a foreigner who doesn't have any idea of what's going on, maybe. Right? But immediately Prabhupada stopped the class and then he said, "This is Krishna consciousness." He knows what is a little bit of this service also for devotees to reduce the inconvenience or whatever. That is Krishna consciousness. It's not only whatever we are doing in the larger sense of the term. So similarly, here also you see Prabhupada is so moved by the man's simple act of devotion. So Maharaj writes beautifully that he, for several moments, he could not speak. Amazing, really, how Prabhupada reacts to this and how Maharaj observed it and sharing the such a small incident. This way, these small incidents actually have a bigger impact in us. Because I somehow feel that um, while in the uh, busyness of trying to say to spread far and wide and getting to reveal this thing to so many other people, etc., etc. Um, it makes a it makes us oblivious or we neglect such important things. And Krishna will look into these small things, and he expects us to also look into these small things. Another beautiful example is there in the fifth canto in from Bhagavatam. Can somebody recall it? I am also given the hint of the fifth canto. So can also somebody reveal that, share that with us?
Sorry, Prabhu, can we continue? Can I continue reading?
No, I asked a question. There to the rest of the devotees there. There is another beautiful incident, similar incident that is there when where we should not be neglectful of. Uh, that little incident shows how we should not be neglectful of even smaller things. I want devotees to share that if you are able to
Prabhuji, is
recall.
it of Jad Bharat?
Nastiti Mataji. Thank you. Jadabarat, what did you do?
Jad Bharat, Prabhuji, when he was taking the palanquin of the king. Um,
Hmm.
so at that time when he was walking, um, I mean, he was not walking. He was not taking the palanquin straight because there were ants down. So
Hmm.
the it was. I mean, the king got very frustrated why this is happening. So
Hmm.
then he said, there are ants down, and I cannot
Hmm.
go straight.
For
So
me, the life of the ant is as important as your life. That's what
yeah,
Jadabarat Maharaj is trying to teach you. Because his Atma is there in each one, so you have to um, treat them equally, not just be kind to one person and see the other living entities as insignificant. Right? So that's a beautiful example as well. And many such cases are there. And there is one nice, interesting story that one of the Vrajvasis told me about Krishna too. Once when the Gopas were all playing and singing and dancing along with Krishna in the forest, and everybody is always happy. Krishna is always happy with his friends. But one day, Krishna was very grave. Usually, he's not grave when he's playing with the kids. He's very grave with his flute in his hands. He's just uh, looking very serious, basically, very serious. So all the friends are trying to uh, make him laugh because they don't like when you're in a group of friends, you don't like somebody to be morose or sad. So they are all trying to make him smile and laugh. They are making cracking different jokes and all that, but he doesn't laugh at all. So they all became a little bit disturbed. Why Krishna is serious today? Then Madhumangala, right? The eternal joking friend of Krishna, who's uh, fond of Laddu Prasadam, right? Have you seen that little Krishna where the Madhumangala is there? You would have seen Madhumangala. Madhumangala comes in the Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan song also. Where does he come? You don't know where he comes?
Prabhuji, your voice was breaking. Sorry, we didn't get you.
Oh, my voice was not clear.
No, Prabhu. I just
Now
heard the
also?
Madhu Mangal and then it got for
No,
me.
I said, oh, after the incident that I told you about Madhumangal, was it not clear?
No, Prabhuji. Only that much that Krishna was grave and it
Uh-huh.
was Madhu Mangal who noticed, and that's it.
The other Gopas are trying to make Krishna laugh, but they are not able to make him laugh. So, Batu, our Madhumangal, he is the one who knows. I said he is also mentioned in the Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Giti, that song. Do you know which line is it? Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavana Maja, Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha, Bhattu Dvijaraja.
Bhattu Dvijaraj.
Bhattu Dvijaraja. He is the Madhumangal, you know. Dvijaraja means he's the Brahmana boy and he eats a lot of laddu, so he is very fat and his tummy is big, actually. He is nicely represented in that Little Krishna cartoon also. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Little Krishna
So
cartoon.
anyway,
Yeah.
I was coming back. Sorry?
Yeah, Little Krishna cartoon. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
Madhu
yeah.
Mangal. Yeah.
So they have nicely portrayed that Madhumangal. So anyway, when Madhumangal saw Krishna very grave and serious, he understood what will make him smile, you know. He went near him and he said, all glories to the ants of Vrindavan. And then Krishna was very happy. He smiled. So it's a very interesting, sweet little thing that I enjoyed when that Rajwashi told me in Vrindavan. He said Krishna wants us to appreciate everything. It's not just that which is more visible. You know. That which is not visible, very insignificant, looks very insignificant, but they also do their duty. So these are all some of the incidents that really makes us, you know, acharyas, they um, follow in the footsteps of Krishna, Mahajanas, Mahajanayana Gatasapanta. We also follow in the footsteps of Mahajanas. We will also attain those qualities. Then we will not be only looking at mm, glamorous services, visible services. We will look for any service that will be pleasing to Krishna. So Madhumangala, when he was glorifying the ants, Krishna could appreciate it that okay, now somebody understood my mood. I am worried about the ants. They are doing so. They are just moving around everywhere. Easily they get smashed. Somebody steps on them. Nobody is there to protect them. So he is worried about the ants, and then but they are also doing their seva, whatever seva they could do. So in Raja, especially every living entity does Krishna, seva to Krishna some or other. So this is something which some of the parallels that I could connect with, um, especially with this regard, how Prabhupada was so moved by it. You know, simple act of devotion is moved by it. And Maharaj so nicely recalls his words also that Krishna says Patna Pushpam Bharat. So very little things also he accepts it with devotion. Mhm. It is not needed. Even in Bhagavatam, it is said in the 11th canto that even with all the very opulent paraphernalias, you won't be able to please Krishna. You won't be able to please Krishna if that simple love is not there, bhakti is not there. Whereas with very, very basic, minimal items also, if you are able to serve Krishna, whatever is available with you, not just you have everything, but still you are giving only very small things, that doesn't help. You have opulent thing and you are able to give, you give. But then most important thing is bhakti in that. That is what Krishna is looking for, you know. Okay, so any comments, questions, discussions on this point?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी प्रणाम हरि बोल
Oh, you are the meeting guest. I was
actually
wondering. Who is that person?
Prabhuji, in Leelamrit also we read one incident like this when Prabhupada was taking class in storefront, I think. One drunkard man
I
came
just mentioned
and
that story. I just mentioned the
okay.
story. You are not there?
Maybe I had missed it.
Oh,
That he was
okay.
toilet roll. He brought a toilet roll.
Toilet paper. Yeah, toilet tissue paper. Yes.
That's what was I wanted. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Just shared that story. See how nice these stories are to understand Prabhupada's mood, It's not only that I do big things. Sometimes what happens is when we become too uh, popular, we tend to set some standards. Um, Personally, uh, Mahavishnu Maharaj did not like that. When suddenly when you are these days and age, this YouTubes and Facebooks, they make us very popular very soon, you see. And then after that, we don't want to accept things which may not. There may not be enough number of people. Very few will be there, and you will say, "Oh, only this many people," kind of thing like that. You start looking into the number games, and the everything goes into a number thing finally. That is something where we have to be very cautious about. Krishna doesn't like it. So, how does it matter if one living entity comes also? You give them Krishna. That is all we need to give. What else you want to give? So recently, I heard one of the devotees was very popular in the YouTube or this media, social media, basically. And otherwise also very popular. But YouTube and these things make them even more popular soon. So he was asked to give class for a group. One of the devotees friends told me that when he asked him, he said, "Sorry, Prabhu, I don't give class for such less number of people. I only give for some bigger audience like that." So this happens when we become too famous too soon without much of the austerity to do. Um, this is very important because if you see, Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita to only one person, Arjuna. Or Brahma was talking to Narad Muni, only one person, Bhagavatam. And Yasdev, Narad Muni was speaking only to Yasdev. They were not give, and Narad Muni was speaking only to Dhruva Maharaj or just one person. They were not looking at the big numbers and this and that. That is a dangerous thing when we start looking at it that way. There's a beautiful purport I was reading yesterday. Some of you are doing your regular daily reading might have come across that chapter 259. Then Rakesh Prabhu, you're there, right? Can you open Bhagavatam from the Vedabase 259? Beautiful verse and purport. Very important to meditate on. Prabhupada gives the entire philosophy of Krishna consciousness at 7-8 lines and how a preacher should be, in what mood the preacher should. Can you open and share, Prabhu? ब्रह्मवाच सम्यक् कारुणिकस्येदं मत्सते विचिकित्सितं यत् अहं चोदित सौम्य भगवत् वीर्य दर्शन. It's actually after Narmani asked a few questions to Brahma about who created this and what is your role, etc., etc. Brahma is actually thanking Narad Muni first for asking these questions. So, who wants to read this translation?
May I read, Prabhuji?
Please, Prabhu.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord
Jai.
Brahma said, "My dear boy, Narad, being merciful to all, including me, you have asked all these questions because I have been inspired to see into the prowess of the Almighty Personality of Godhead."
See, this is very interesting. Being merciful to all, including me, you asked all these questions because I have been inspired to see into the prowess of the Almighty Personality of God. you are merciful to all and you to me also, because by your asking question, I am now for induced to think about Krishna, into Krishna's potencies, his glories, etc. So when somebody asks questions, immediately we should not think, okay, let me tell with my intelligence whatever comes, I will may become famous. That's not the way. So this is actually when Krishna is when Narada is asking this question to Brahma, he felt very happy that now I can do some service to Krishna and to the devotees also. I can meditate on Krishna also, and I can with that pure heart, if you meditate, Krishna will supply all the intelligence. Otherwise, our this thing will be contaminated. That is the problem. So let's read purport. Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport, which should be the actual mood of a preacher. Let's read this purport.
Purport. Brahmaji, being so questioned by Naradji, congratulated him, for it is usual for the devotees to become very enthusiastic whenever they are questioned concerning the Almighty Personality of Godhead. That is the sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. Such discourses on the transcendental activities of the Lord purify the atmosphere in which such discussions are held, and the devotees thus become enlivened while answering such questions. It is purifying both for the questioners and for one who answers the question.
See, these two lines are very important. Such discourses on the transcendental activities of the Lord purify the atmosphere in which such discussions are held. So, when we are doing it with a pure motive, that atmosphere itself is purified. That is when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam class or when we hear some kirtans where it is only for the pleasure of the Lord when they are doing. It's not just the tunes and the ragas that make the thing more. They are all supporting factors only. Actually speaking, it's the bhav of that love for that holy names that really makes the connect to the audience. Only the raga and music, they are of course definitely supportive, but they are not the main ones. The main ones is the bhav that we have, or the attachment we have for the holy names. And that is why when we speak Bhagavatam also, when we look at numbers, when we look at how many people are there, how much have been glorified, etc., then it destroys the very thread of our fabric of our bhakti. This is the reason we have to be emphasizing on this fact very much, because this is the most difficult thing to get out of our system, our mental system and psychological system. Naturally speaking, when you see somebody big crowd, then immediately you become attracted to them. Correct? When somebody sitting at home and just talking to one person, how much do we get attracted to them? But are we giving importance to the subject matter or the content, purity of the content, or the popularity of the say the event? It's not to minimize the big events and all. I'm just saying that how we are discriminating. That is where the big challenge is. In Bhagavatam, if you see, most of the discussions are one-on-one, isn't it? Have you ever noticed that? Very few are like within a group. Like say, Sutta Goswami talking to the name Shara sages. Where else you will see? Where Bhishmadev is talking to Yudhishthira Maharaj. The rest of them are all hearing. Okay. There is a group there. But Narad Muni talking to Vyasadeva, Brahma talking to Narad Muni, Krishna talking to Brahma, Krishna talking to
Sukhdev
Arjuna.
Goswami talking to Parikshit
Sorry,
Maharaj.
Parikshit
Sukhdev
Maharaj.
Goswami.
There, of course, a group is there. Sukhdev Goswami talking to Parikshit. I'm just talking about one-on-one. Krishna, sorry, Dhruva Maharaj to Dhruva, the Krishna, Narad Muni to Dhruva, Narad Muni to Prahlad,
Vidur to
Narad Muni
Maitre.
to Chitraketu,
Vidur to Maitre Muni.
Maitreya Muni to Vidura, sorry. Maitreya to Vidura. I mean, both are discussing, but Maitreya is the one who's answering. Or Uddhava Vidura. Everything is one-on-one conversation. But then, how long it is lasting? Right? If we were in Vidura, sorry, we were in Maitreya or Uddhava's state, or Narad Muni's state, what would we be thinking? And only one person. Why should I speak Bhagavatam for so long? What will I get? Isn't it? It's a very interesting observation to make a note of. Most of the conversations in Bhagavatam are one. Why it is so? The thing is, you don't care, first of all, how many people are who is there. And it is all about Machita, Madhyata, Prana, Bodhita, Paspara. And when the purity of that discussion is there, then what happens is uh, Krishna makes sure that that conversation is lasting long. It lasts longer. What is more important? A discussion that is more popular for a short period of time, or which lasts longer and transforms the heart of many, many souls for many ages. What is more important?
Second one, Prabhuji.
Obviously, right? And that is what makes the important thing. So we should. Then Prabhupada, somebody told me this beautiful example. Who told me this thing? Very nice beauty. One Prabhupada disciple in London, Prabhupada Shri Prabhu. He used to be the London Temple president for a long time. And he said something very interesting, that Prabhupada, when he left by Yaldota from Calcutta, I think he left from Calcutta all the way around and came up to around the Lanka and the Cochin, and came up to Bombay, and then it went to the US. I think that's the route he took. So when he left, before leaving, he just went to pray, offer obeisances to Mahaprabhu in Mayapur and all, and then Advaita Acharya Bhavan and all that he did. And then he came to Calcutta. Before leaving, one day before or so, he just went to the temple, Radha Govinda temple, I think, right? The temple in Calcutta those days. He just went to the temple and gave a class, and only some 2, 3 widows were there sitting in the class. He gave a nice Bengali, I don't know, Bhagavad Bhagavatam class, and then he left for the US. Who would have known by that time that Prabhupada, who is just, they don't even know who this man is, just one sannyasi or sadhu, or maybe just a grasta, whatever way they want to call him. He's just giving and speaking. Maybe he's speaking all right, but then maybe just not many are interested, right? So that's why this point is very important. For it is usual for the devotees to become very enthusiastic whenever they are questioned concerning the Almighty Personality of God. They don't care how many are around. Just one person asking, immediately they have to speak. That is a sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. We have to keep this in mind.
Prabhuji, even in 2.1.1 also, I was recently reading that purport. There also, Prabhupada very clearly in the purport write that, that it is very purifying. The topics of Lord Krishna are so auspicious that they purify the speaker, hearer, and the inquirer.
Yeah, very true. And that is what I think our Piyush Prabhupada, he just posted it here. The Ganges emanating from the toe of Lord Vishnu purifies the 3 worlds, the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. Similarly, when one asks questions about the pastimes and characteristics of the Lord Vasudeva Krishna, 3 varieties have purified: the speaker or teacher, he who inquires, and the people generally who listens. Bhaktaram Puchakam Slotrams Tatpade Saliloyata. That's the second line of this verse. Thank you, Anand Sati Mataji and Piyush Prabhu, for nicely corroborating this point. Please read the further few more lines are there, Prabhu. Please.
It is purifying both for the questioners and for one who answers the question. The pure devotees are not only satisfied by knowing everything about the Lord, but are also eager to broadcast the information to others, for they want to see that the glories of the Lord are known to everyone.
This is very important. For they want to see the glories of the Lord are known to everyone. But in general, we want to see our glories to be known to everyone. That's the difference between a pure devotee and a so-called devotee, pseudo devotee. Please complete the purport.
Thus, the devotee feels satisfied when such an opportunity is offered to him. This is the basic principle of missionary activities. Hare Krishna.
How Prabhupada so nicely finishes this. This is the basic principle of missionary activities. Now, this is a missionary activity that Prabhupada is doing, and he has written this he has written this in Vrindavan before going to US. Already that time only all his plans are going on in the mind. Like Krishna is applying all the inspiration to do this mission. It's a mission, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, that Prabhupada always used to call it. So this is what is the mood of a Prabhupada has condensed the whole thing, the mood of a preacher inside this Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, one thing I wanted to ask,
Yes, Prabhu.
just from my limited intelligence, when you were discussing that one-to-one discussion and group discussion, now one-to-one discussion is very releasing when both the person who are involved in one-to-one discussion are having taste for Bhagavatam. Means, है ना, मीन्स जैसे सपोज जैसे एक आदमी जो है जिसका कि उतना अभी रुझान नहीं है या इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, तो उसमें वन टू वन डिस्कशन फिर ज्यादा चलेगा, ज्यादा लंबा नहीं हो पाएगा ना वहां पे.
चलेगा प्रभु, चलेगा. See, that is when actually it is. In fact, I would say that that is where the person who has less faith or no faith will have the maximum impact. More than in a big group. Big group also it has its own impact. When somebody asks, you'll be surprised. Oh, these people are very serious about the subject matter, etc., etc. But sometimes it works that when he's alone, it depends on the people, Prabhu. Some of them want to get their questions clarified in a one-on-one. They may have some more deeper things. They may be shy of asking in the group, right? So they will say, I want to ask you a question separately, like that. It cannot be just personal. It's just that they might want to be more expressive. They are more expressive when they are alone.
Yes.
And you see, in a group, in fact, if the person asking and the person speaking are in the same wavelength, the other people also, majority of the people are in the same wavelength, the rest of them will follow suit. If most of them are not, pretty much everybody except the speaker and the hearer is there, are not very serious, some of them may go away. They may think, okay, this is just some personal conversation between the two. I don't know, we won't be able to get much about it. That is why the person who is inquiring must ask always questions which are very generic. Generic in the sense, it should apply to him also, and it should apply to everyone also. Suppose if I say something which is only relevant to me, which is very unique to me, which doesn't apply to anyone else, the answer may be suitable to me, but the others in the group may find it a bit boring, the discussion. See? Something which is only between the two of you, the incidents, between the speaker and the hearer. That may not be very reachable to everyone. That's why it should always be there. In fact, some of the purpose Prabhupada says beautifully as to how one should ask questions when, especially, in a group, how we should be like. It's not that sometimes devotees may saying that hey, that person sitting in the group, he doesn't understand my answer. So let me ask this question in such a way that the speaker will answer, and that will go into the hearer's thing. That person will understand it better. So when we keep on hearing a lecture in the mood of, oh, this person I should tell this, that person I should tell this, then when will I get it for myself? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. When we want to take it to ourselves, that is when actually Krishna purifies our heart. If it is only for others, then I would think that I am always perfect. I don't need to hear this lecture and get purified. I see many times devotees tell me whenever I go for preaching, the sense preaching means this any classes or whatever. Sometimes devotees say this, Prabhu, you speak so that no, we are speaking for a long time, so devotees get familiar with us. They don't understand, and we say, but when you say they will, I mean, because you come once in a while, they will be able to appreciate it. There may be some truth in it, definitely. Uh, Sometimes it may be familiar with the British contempt, but there is also an additional factor in there which we have to be honest about in accepting it. That our own uh, purity is a problem. Our own purity is a problem. We tend to take things for granted. When we keep going every day, then we will start expecting that hey, they should put garland today also. They should the same people should be sitting and more people should come. All these kind of quantitative material expectations are there in a certain way. And that's why creating the distance also with the our disinterest also in the hearers. You know. So these are some of the things which we have to be honestly introspect. Otherwise, we can always put the blame on others. People are not interested. So that is also there. So and say again, we should not. It's a minimizing thing in some way because actually, what the person intends to say is that actually when I say also they will understand. They should accept. There is nothing wrong with the way I am saying. But people have got familiar with me. That is why they are not understanding. But since they are not familiar with you, they will listen to you. This is natural. This is a not a very good uh, way of thinking. Actually, that's not the way to. For that, we don't need to take so much strain to tell the whole thinking is wrong, isn't it? People don't have the respect for me. I am telling correctly only, but they are not understanding. And this person is not better than me. This preacher, it may be of the same as me, but um, uh, he's not better than me. But because he's new, people will just listen to him, and that's enough for me. People will somehow let them hear from him and advance, and they also accept that that way I am also. Uh, so it's not very easy. Both these sides, we have to see the challenges. The one who is moving around and preaching also, he may also have the defect that if he stays in one place, he loses respect. So he'll have to keep moving. The other person may have the better equipped to stay in one place and continue doing different sevas and some more coordination. They will have that capacity. Both have their positives and both may have this thing, but we should be only looking into the good of others. When somebody is here, maybe he will inspire me also. We should think like that instead of saying, let him inspire my audience. And that's why many times Prabhupada was not very happy when the temple presidents or leaders are not there in the classes. They'll just say, oh, he's coming for a class. If you put some people in front of him, he'll be happy. So I will go and do some other work during that 1 hour Bhagavatam class. And let me come back and later I'll just honor him and keep him happy. We all have to make sure that he's happy coming and going. And some nice presentation is done with the devotees around and prasadam and arrangements. That is fine. That is okay, but we have to do those things. But hearing wise, we have to be there. As far as I have seen in Vrindavan, many temples successful, many nice temples. The leaders or administrators, they're always there in the class. They don't skip the classes, saying that I have other important things to do. Others will be there to hear from you. That is not a good. They don't set a standard. They set a precedence, good precedence there. I've always seen, like for example, Vrindavan. um, uh, Panchagoda Prabhu is the temple president there. Never I've seen him not there in the Bhagavatam class. Always he'll be there sitting in the parliament. Whoever, even a small person gives also, you will sit and listen. There's no differentiations there. These are some of the subtle things which are very important to note. Yeah. So I think Shiva Prabhu has raised his hand. What is that, Prabhu? You would like to share anything?
Yes, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Prabhuji, we are discussing regarding the ant story in two instances. So I would like to correlate and get it corrected from you. During March last year, we discussed in detail about the word Samadarshini, where Krishna says, "I'm equal to one and I'm not partial for anyone."
Correct. Correct.
I
That's the
just
best
want
words to connect here, Prabhu. That's the correct words only. What you said.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Samoha Sarva Bhuteshu Namadeshu Sinapuriya. So he is equal to everybody. So we also should be treating everybody equal, isn't it? As much as possible to the best of our ability. So by devotion, our vision widens, Prabhu. Initially, our vision will be very immature, or maybe just growing, maybe. But as we grow in our devotions, our chanting gets pure, our Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita study, that becomes purer, like how it is being said here. Like we are enthusiastic whenever there are questions, means you want to study. That's the thing. Pure devotees are not only satisfied by knowing everything about the Lord, but they are also eager to broadcast information to others. Very beautiful. But they want to see why? Because they want to see the glories of the Lord are known to everyone. That's the only purpose. Nothing else. How nice is purport, no? Gives so much for us to digest and discuss and meditate upon. Please try to read it yourself also and see how it's also important to make sure that um, we are digesting these purports, assimilating these purports. Sometimes you may have to write this in the. As soon as I looked at this, I thought I should write this purport down. I've read this many times, but every time I read it, it's always fresh. So fresh reading. Okay. Sorry, we have to move on to Prabhupada Smaranam. No? So who would like to? Sorry, or I think Rakesh Prabhu just read one or two paragraphs only and took into so much discussion here, which is very good. Anytime the discussion is very healthy, the points which are discussed, they should be very deep and thought-provoking, basically. So now this is the next incident. Anyone wants to read? We have just 10 more minutes. I've got to go after that. So we'll have to finish sharp on time. Let's read this. We may not be able to discuss more deeper, but at least we'll read. Anybody want to take turn to read?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yeah. Now comes the. Sorry, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, please go ahead.
Prabhupada arranged another meeting with Jaganlal, which was again held in his room at Mr. Sethi. He sat behind his desk and was joined by Mrs. Nair with her advocate and the senior Mr. Mehta with his son. Right away,
So now,
Mrs. Nair,
who is Jagannath?
Jaganlal is the person who also had given money to Mrs. Nair to buy the land, Prabhu.
Yeah, correct, Mataji. You have the link. Correct. I just wanted to say we are still in that section where now these two people are given money. She has to return money to one of them, but she doesn't have any money. She can do that only the one other party that has to give. So she is deciding whoever gives the higher price is better for me. And that Jaganlal meets Prabhupada and says, "So I heard you are trying to get that land. So do you think who will get it?" He's saying that I will, with very strongly, assertively, Prabhupada says that I will get it. So now this is the incident, beautiful incident is this. we have to read it in the flow actually. We'll probably do the remaining in the next thing. But here is masterful quality of Prabhupada we can see here. Okay. So let's read. Mataji, continue reading the next paragraph also.
Right away, Mrs. Nair verbally attacked Chaganlal and Shantilal Mehta counterattacked. They fought bitterly, giving vent to years of hatred. Mrs. Nair despised Shantilal Mehta so much that she was ready to let things drag on for years rather than giving to him. And he felt the same way. He didn't care if his 50,000 was tied up with her. He wasn't going to surrender. Prabhupada let them fight for a while and then said, "Now let us forget. What's done is done. Let us forget about it." He pacified them and they started talking civilly, but the animosity soon erupted again and they resumed fighting. Prabhupada again had to pacify them and appeal to them to quiet down. And eventually, when their fighting passions came down to a smolder, he said, "Now let us discuss."
See, what all thing Prabhupada had to do to get this land? Those two people's thing is not at all his problem. But somehow or other, this is also coming into his plate and he has to sort them down also. And Acharya has to do all these things, something which is unprecedented actually, Thankfully, we are being, all these things are recorded for the first time. I don't think anybody would have given these details to such minute level that we know now proper how much he had to do. Let's read further, Mataji. It's a very interesting section. Prabhu, please move. Yes.
Just then, Mr. Gantra, the former mayor, walked in and started glorifying Srila Prabhupada, offering obeisances and prayers. He was a well-known and popular figure, and Mr. Mehta knew him. Swamiji, Mr. Gantra said, "I came for your darshan. I had no idea I would be walking into this. Maybe we can..."
Yes. Mr. Gantra. So who knows who is Mr. Gantra? What did he did in the past? Something Maharaj mentions very nicely.
When they go to him and lodge a complaint, when the temple people go and lodge a complaint, and Mrs. Nair also comes with some this thing, he silents her or something, and he accepts.
He promises that he will do the best thing, right? And not only that, even before that, he writes a beautiful letter to Prabhupada glorifying him and his mission. That letter was fully put in there, if you remember, right? So don't expect that I will ask only verses in the Bhagavatam. I will ask questions like this in the in Prabhupada's book also, connecting with the previous thing. Because there's so many names that pop in here and there. You see, like a story flowing. You have to remember those things in the past. Okay, so let's continue.
Maybe you can help
Beautiful
me,
section. This
Prabhupada.
is.
And he explained the situation.
See,
Don't
this is how Prabhupada is. Prabhupada is engaging him also in the service. He could have done it himself, but then he's engaging him in the service because he is a well-known figure. Maybe they will listen to him also.
Don't worry, Mr. Gantra assured him. "I will take care of it." And he took Mr. Mehta and his son into another room. While Gantra was sitting with Jaganlal in the other room, Prabhupada spoke with Mrs. Nair. "How much are you willing to pay?" he asked. "Well, we have to pay the 50,000 he gave us, plus we will give him another 25,000. That's all. You have to pay the rest. If he has an extra claim, you have to pay."
See, now this is not the only amount. This is extra amount. Beyond that, he has spent a few lakhs actually. So she is asking Prabhupada to pay the extra amount also from that, from what she got from that person, Chaganlal, and then you take the rent. This is what she's telling. Beyond what we are paying, she wants us to pay the amount to Chaganlal also. This is totally unacceptable, right? Why would I pay for someone else's thing? Let's go further. Prabhupada, you see Prabhupada what he's going to say. Go, Prabhu. What's happening? Rakesh Prabhu. Scroll.
So why should we pay? Prabhupada question. I'm already paying you for the land. This is your problem with Jagannath. When Mr. Khantra entered the room, everyone wanted to know how much the Mehtas were demanding. We want 4 lakhs, Mr. Khantra said. 4 lakhs? Oh no, that's impossible, Mrs. Nair retorted. We can't pay that. How much are you willing to pay? Khantra asked. He can pay 75,000. He's asking 4 lakhs and you want to pay 75,000? No, no. You have to do better than that. We have to settle this.
So Prabhupada is
Prabhupada
saying this. Okay.
Prabhupada appealed to Mrs. Nair to offer more, and she said, all right, 1 lakh. Then Mr. Gantra returned to the Mehta. Meanwhile, Prabhupada was encouraging Mrs. Nair to pay more if necessary. The rest of us couldn't wait to hear what Mr. Uh, Gantra would say when he returned. Finally, he came back in and told us, I have persuaded him to come down to 3,25,000. But that is it. I don't think he is going to come down any lower. You will have to come up with a lot more than 1 lakh. I thought, oh no, there is such a gulf. But Prabhupada appealed to Mrs. Nair to offer more.
Come down, Prabhu. It's a very interesting section.
All right, he said, 1,25,000, but that's all. He was starting to get upset. Mr. Ghantra was
They two are actually in
went
two
back
separate rooms. They two are in two separate rooms, actually.
to the, yes,
Okay.
Mr. Gantra went back to Chaganla. The situation was tense. I was feeling anxious. I didn't know what Chaganlal would demand next. It seemed that the negotiation could break down at any moment. When Mr. Gantra returned, he said that Chaganlal would settle for 2,75,000, either that or nothing. Otherwise, he says he will go to court and either he will get 6 lakhs or he'll get the land. So he wants 2,75,000 and that's it. Now what are we going to do? It was intense. Everyone was sweating
Sweating
and
and screaming.
screaming. And Mr. Gandra was coaxing. Srila Prabhupada conferred with Mrs. Nair. Finally, she said, all right, I will pay 1 lakh for 40,000 and that's it. And Prabhupada told Gandra to offer 2,25,000.
Scroll up.
Hinting
What
that
brought
he
in
would,
Rakesh Prabhu? Very interesting section this is.
and Prabhupada told Gantra to offer 2,25,000, hinting that he would cover the difference. I don't know what he'll say, Gantra told us, and he went back to Chaganda. Some minutes later, he returned with a big smile on his face. They have agreed. My God. The two Mehtas, father and son, followed Gantra into the room. Everyone was relieved and elated. So much had hinged on this issue. Then I realized that Mr. Gantra must have been exaggerating their claim and determination with Mrs. Nair and exaggerating Mrs. Nair's unwillingness when he met Chagandan. He was playing either side.
Yeah.
It had seemed like there was a huge gulf, but that was to get them to come down because our offer was so low and to get Mrs. Nair to come up because their demand was so high, and eventually we had met in the middle. Gandhar came down from 4 lakhs to 2,25,000. Mrs. Nair came up from 75,000 to 1,40,000, and Prabhupada agreed to pay Jaganlal the difference of 85,000. Anyway, we were all relieved and elated and amazed by Prabhupada's expertise and kindness. It was only out of both Shantilal Mehta's and Mrs. Nair's deep respect and admiration for him that they were able to even come and sit together in the same room and talk. With everyone still gathered, Prabhupada spoke about...
We'll stop here. This point will continue now. But such an amazing thing. No, an Acharya, he is perfect in everything. See how tactfully he brought the big gulf so that, and he also offered to pay some little extra from his side so that the whole thing is settled. This is, even he could have just said it's between the two of you, you get it done. But then he says, okay, let me. This is how he brought them together. All these business tactics he only knows in India. Others, when the foreign devotees, when they came, they don't know these intricacies that happens in India. It is only it became like some of these Asian countries, maybe they will do. So it's such a beautiful thing that Prabhupada has done here. I think we should stop here and continue. I can't wait to go further into the remaining part of this section. We are just about to finish this first section. So I'll stop here. Anybody wants to share your experience as at least here reading or hearing this particular incident about Prabhupada's beautiful expertise? And who is this Shantilal Mehta? He was the one who said your Guru Maharaj is Pakka. He said no last time. He was the one who was trying to persuade Prabhupada to give up that line. Okay, we'll stop here. It's an amazing section actually. I really enjoyed. I just couldn't stop reading this part at all, and I have to do it because I have to go now. So Krishna willing, we will continue this on Monday. I cannot do it. Monday I have another program. Let's see. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all days are like it. Maybe programs in the evenings. I will let you know how days are going on. These are all beautiful sections. You could not miss. Thank you so much, Prabhu. We'll stop here. Krishna willing, I will let you know that date soon. By the way, tomorrow we will continue with the Narad Muni. One small change. Instead of Saturday, we'll do it tomorrow morning. Same time, 10:30 to 11:30. So those who are available, tomorrow is our Republic Day anyway, so you can definitely join. So please join in at your convenience. I will continue with that beautiful section which you are reading. Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.